Hello, welcome to this new episode of the Alex Show TV. And as you can see, we have a guest, and I'm very happy and honored and really privileged to have Chris Harrison on the show from Canada. Thank you, Chris, for accepting my invitation. As you viewer have seen, I made 3 shows out of Chris' podcast, a video from Chris that he talked about so many things that we're going to talk today. Well, thank you, Chris, for being here. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
Oh, well, thank you for having me, Alex. It's a pleasure for me to be here.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Chris, if you don't mind, let's start with a question I think we all, in some way, some form, have asked ourselves. For me, it's a beautiful question. It's talking to the universe that is always listening. The universe is always with us. Even when we're alone, when we're in our head, the universe is there. And so the question of who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? Where am I going? Those basic existential questions. And it happened to you, and I believe you asked something different, but if you could tell us about your own story on discovering why are you something different,
Yes, exactly. Thank you. I mean, I had a profound spiritual experience about 3 years ago when my Kundalini activated. And before I describe that, I'll sort of give you a little bit of what led up to it, because I was on a spiritual, I was doing a lot of inner work. So I was already sort of on a path of trying to figure out my life. I had been, if you could go back 10 years ago, my life was significantly more complicated. I had a job that was had a lot of responsibility and was very demanding. My girlfriend at the time was very, very unwell, and I had been her caregiver for about a decade. And so, my life was becoming more and more unbalanced. And so the process actually for me began quite a while ago. It's in around 2012. I started a process of what I call just resetting my inner compass. And so I began doing inner work and trying to process, my life and my choices and all of that stuff. And fast forward to 2019, the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. Right around that period, it was like the universe hit a giant off switch in my life. In sort of relatively short order, my job ended, my girlfriend died, the pandemic hit, and then my Kundalini activated. And I sort of give you the background of that, in that my Kundalini, when it activated, there was already a bunch of work that I'd done. I had no idea where that was leading. When my Kundalini activated, was the last thing I would have expected. But and again, it was a process over a number of years. I was doing all this inner work. But then when, my job ended and Kimberly died and all these things happened, that's when I started asking those questions that more seriously, who am I? Why am I here? Like, what is this existence, all about? And it was only then when I started having those deep questions that this occurred. And I mean, specifically, the thing that triggered it was, now I should also say I'm not a meditator. Like, my life, I didn't do formal meditation and stuff, but I would say that my default setting is sitting in contemplation. So not meditative, but very contemplative. And so I was in a contemplative state, and I was contemplating the concept of that we incarnate with a plan, that we choose our lives, we come in and we have, a purpose for being here. And I thought to myself that if I came in with a plan, because I was trying to figure out how do I know what it is? How do I follow it? And so I thought, well, if I just let the universe bring it to me, the path will come to me rather than me searching for the path, if that makes any sense. And with that state of mind, I said, just randomly to the universe, I said, I request a most benevolent outcome for surrendering to the waves of the cosmic ocean. Thank you. And instantaneously, I got an answer inside my body. The initial sort of reaction was kind of like my body took a breath. If the feeling if your sinuses are kind of clogged and suddenly they unclog, it was kind of like that, but throughout my body. So it's very strange. And that was just a quick thing. And then I felt this something rising up inside me. And if you imagine a glass of water filling itself up, it was like that. It was literally this level that I felt, going up all around my body, through it. I could feel the dimension of it. And somehow I knew that it was my Kundalini activating. In somewhere along the way in my readings, I had read about Kundalini, and I must have read somebody's experience, because I understood that was what was occurring. And so I wasn't frightened or anything. And I just sort of sat there and allowed it to occur. It was quite slow, the rise was sort of, kind of like that. And it went sort of up and past my heart. And as it went up, it was almost like it was dislodging or clearing emotion or something from my cells. And as it rose just past my throat, that's when the emotional release came. And at first it was just just weeping because of the pure love that I felt, the joy of this occurring. And the weeping transitioned into giggling, just an outright giggle fest. I couldn't stop giggling. I was just like giggling and giggling uncontrollably. Just again, joy, feeling just pure joy. And that settled down after a little bit. And I thought that it had finished. I thought it had sort of completed. And then there was deep belly laughter that started building up, and it's just building up slowly. And it was odd, because there was nothing funny. There was nothing stimulating, there was nothing causing this. And it was so odd. I actually kind of resisted it. I was like kind of saying to myself, I'm not gonna start laughing. And I was kind of gritting my teeth a little bit. And just for a split second, it was like I detached from my body and everything relaxed and the laughter poured out. And I laughed until I cried. And with all of that, my crown chakra came alive and was just tingling and glowing like crazy. My third eye, same thing, just vibrating very pleasantly. All of the chakras, sort of, I became aware of them, sort of for the first time. And it was profound on several levels, because on one hand, I got an instant answer to a prayer. It's kind of like, oh wow, my guides are actually there. They're actually listening. The other thing was, I had read stuff about Kundalini and chakras, and and I'm you may not know what I'm talking about here and stuff, but I'm a skeptic. I've always been a little bit skeptical of things. And so that was kind of like, oh wow, this stuff is real. Like I can feel these things, you know. And then the third thing was around, I had also been doing reading, new age sort of stuff, and had come across many people talking about that we were experiencing a shift of consciousness, and that we were, shifting from an old energy to a new energy, that we were moving into what they called the new earth, and that part of this change would be that we will change physically. Our physical bodies will change on a cellular level, and so that was the other thing. It's like, oh wow, that's actually happening. This is not just make believe. And so it was, like I said, profound on multiple levels. And I was in a state of bliss for a couple of weeks after that.
Thank you. I have a lot of questions. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, no, not a problem.
When you were saying that the Kundalini was activating and this energy was flowing through your body, apparently in the order of the chakras from the 1 to the 7, we start with with the root chakra. Do you feel that maybe this release was trauma? Because that's something I've heard very much, that this energy that is coming is kind of melting something inside us. These old memories, this old trauma, these traumatized memories, mostly from past lives or all from past lives, and it's releasing this trauma so we can actually evolve and go into this shift, so we can go into the new world. This is coming for everyone. So before recording, I'm gonna just interject the subject here. We're discussing about how we feel that this energy is coming for everyone, but some are accepting it like you clearly did here, and some are rejecting it, feeling strange, funny because of physical symptoms, maybe, or their emotional symptoms that they know something is going on. They're changing. They are maybe going from separation, from duality, from uniqueness to the oneness, to the unity, to the service to others, from the service to self to the service to others. It's like they're changing and saying, why am I so concerned about, why am I stopping being concerned about me and my development and my success? So maybe that in a way enrage them, or makes them have a different reaction to the one you had. And the other question I had is about, in one moment you felt when you were going through this experience, did you see your guides? Did you hear them, or did you just feel it? You feel their connection, you feel their love, their guidance? Was it an apparent thing? Because you said something very important. A lot of people have told me there is no evidence for this. I want to see a movie, I want to see a video, testimonials are not good enough because you have to trust the person. So that's the problem we have, that I would love for everyone to experience this, because I had different experiences to yours, but similar in a way. And you have to experience it yourself so you can
Mhm.
believe it, because they ask for evidence and there's no evidence. Okay, the guides are not going to show up here for the benefit of others, and so you can believe it. You either believe it or you don't believe it. And so, how did you feel it? How did you feel the love of the guides? And because it basically, the guides are the community consciousness, the unity consciousness,
Mhm.
and the universe talking to you.
Yes, yes. So yeah, I feel the guides. I feel the connection. I don't get audio. I don't hear
Okay.
things. I don't see visual things.
Same for me. Yes.
It is. I mean, and I'll sort of answer it in a couple of ways. Like when the Kundalini activated, it also it's like my inner Wi-Fi got a giant boost. Is sort of the best way for me to describe it. It's like my intuition became noticeably stronger, which again
Okay.
is really hard to sort of quantify. Um, and I have learned, and I didn't realize this for a long, long time, is that our guides can communicate to us through our physical form, right? Through
Good.
bodily sensations, right?
Mhm.
And stuff. And so I will feel them. The way I usually get the communication is sort of a tap on my heart chakra, which is, when I say that, I mean, like, I instantly feel tears welling up in my eye. It's like something a word or something, or seeing something will trigger it, and I always take that as as a confirmation of we're here, kind of thing. Um, the Yeah, so it's the just learning that the ways that spirit can communicate, again, it's not in a linear way. I mean, another way of communication that I didn't even realize is, when you get really, really excited about something that you're working on,
Mhm.
you get, then you're just like, all of a sudden you're excited, you're inspired, like whatever it is in a project, that excitement, that is your higher self saying, yes, 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 go this direction. Yes. It's confirmation that you're doing, sort of the right thing. Um, and to sort of go back to how you were talking about the trauma, um, well, I mean, I don't see the Kundalini activating specifically as sort of trauma related, but that said, the trauma we're seeing around the world coming up individually and collectively is because of the shift in consciousness. We are at the end of a major cycle, and these things are coming up to be addressed, right? Because we can't ascend, we can't make the shift if we have baggage. We have to let go of our baggage. And so, that's kind of like, even before my Kundalini activated, I had done so much inner work. And a lot of that was letting go of the baggage, letting go of things. It's like, oh, I understand that pattern I was doing, and I don't need to think about it anymore. I don't have to dwell on it. I can let it go. It doesn't have to be part of my story anymore.
Exactly.
And so, because I actually think that the Kundalini doesn't, like, first of all, anybody, like, it is possible for anyone to have their Kundalini activate. We are all the same. Each one of us is a piece of source, embodied in a human form. But I don't think that it will activate unless you're relatively in balance, because when it does activate, one of the interesting things is, and it's hard to describe this, it's like there is a gentle insistence that you bring your life into balance. And so I'd already done a lot of work to sort of do that before it happened. But even still, it's just like, without me really trying to, habits changed, behaviors changed, like, and sometimes small things, sometimes bigger things, diet things and exercise things and stuff. And it wasn't like I woke up one day and said, I'm going to eat better. It's just that just appealed to me more. A better, simpler diet appealed to me more, and I sort of naturally took it into my life. The same thing with exercise, and some other behaviors. So I don't know if that really answers your question about the trauma or not, but
Yes, in a way, because I mean, I would like to make a few points of what you're saying. For everyone watching, I say it many times on my show. I repeat it over and over again. In a way, I also say it because I have an hour of 2 minutes that I give some general suggestions. That this is coming for everyone. It's not like Chris is special, I'm special. We're not saying that. Sorry if it appears that way sometimes. This what is happening can happen to everyone, as you say, and the universe is so perfect that it will happen in the moment that it needs to happen. So it happened to you in the moment that it needed to happen. So talk to the universe. If you want to embrace this, just talk to the universe. The universe, remember, it won't do that work for you, because that's another thing. It will put you in the path, it will give you all the resources so you can do it. But it's something that we really need to want, we really need to have the intentions in our heart. Uh, and what you were saying, this trauma release, is something very important, letting go. Letting go is extremely important. Some people, there's this confusion going on forgiveness and forgetting. And forgiveness is more a human thing, and it's when you want to patch things up, and that's perfectly fine. But the trauma release goes to forgetting. Hey, I suffered trauma in other lives. I was killed or something. You have to let it go. You cannot continue to seek justice. You cannot continue to seek reparations. You cannot continue to seek. You cannot continue to be in rage or upset or in fear. All of these emotions that just set you back. Just let go. It happened. A lot of things happen. You are gonna do things to some people. People are gonna do things to you. It happens. The best thing you can do is let things go. Okay. So
yes.
that's what I say with trauma release is apparently there are so many theories on this that I say it. I don't want to pass it as truth. Apparently, and I align to the idea that we carry trauma physically in our
Yes.
DNA, in our bodies. So some people are calling these symptoms. Uh, for example, when there is a lot of energy, when the Schumann resonance, which is 7.83 hertz, goes upwards, and I think it's just that the Earth is receiving and is sending back a lot of energy. Uh, they sometimes people claim they have dizziness, weakness, sadness, depression, and all that. I think it has to do with this clearing we're going through, because apparently this shift is going to be a special one. And I don't want to scare anyone, but you usually jump densities through death, physical death. Okay, that is doesn't exist really. You never cease as a spirit. You're going to go on forever. But physical death, yes, it happens, and it's very clear. And when you go into pure spirit form, you leave your body. You don't have a body anymore. You are not in an incarnation. That's when you usually could shift realities. So apparently, this particular change is going to be with our bodies. Well, if we go, I don't want to be arrogant that I'm going and we're going. Okay, assuming the ones we're going or the ones that are going, uh, it's going to be with our body. So that's why the upgrade, because the density is going to be different, and it probably requires a different body. And some say that a few DNA strains are going to be activated. That we only have a few activated. The number is apparently 2, and they say we have potential for 12 DNA strains. So a few of them are getting activated. Stuff like that. So
Yes,
apparently,
that's
yeah,
actually,
go ahead. Go ahead, please.
well, just about how the body carries trauma and stuff. I'd love to just sort of go through some of the changes that happened after the Kundalini activated, because that set in motion um, changes at a cellular level, where I would experience my brain being rewired at times, where I would experience, those symptoms that you're talking about. Like, people have these, ascension symptoms, various things. Like I would get strange, cramps
I,
and stuff,
I
muscle
had
out of nowhere.
one here for
And
like 3 months. Yes.
yeah, and so these things would, um, well, I'll kind of go through them in the order that I experienced this stuff. Um, so about, I don't know, maybe a month or 6 weeks or something after the Kundalini activated, I was falling asleep, and suddenly it was like there was an electric ticklish needle going directly in the top of my head, into my brain, about an inch, 2 inches, something like that. crazy ticklish. And it lasted for a few minutes. I don't recall exactly. And I wasn't frightened. Again, I knew that this was sort of part of the process that was going on. But it was just very odd. I mean, I mean, literally it felt like I'm sure it was my brain synapses being rewired. Um, a couple of weeks after that, the same thing happened, same as I'm going to sleep, but this time it was just above my third eye and going in diagonally. A couple weeks after that, same thing happened sort of around my temples. Another time, there were pulses that would go up the sides of my neck, into the base of my brain. So I'd sort of feel these pulses kind of going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the brain. Um, the yeah, I would get these sort of random cramps, that would when they would release, and sometimes they would last for an hour, sometimes they would last for a couple of days, but when they would release, I would feel this sort of beautiful soft energy flowing in. Um, I should also backtrack. One of the most profound things that I experience regularly now is this beautiful, soft, cool, thick liquid is what it feels like, and it flows into my crown. And sometimes it's sort of feels like it kind of goes in like a mist. Sometimes it feels like there's a hose connected to the side of my head and it's just pouring in. And it is exquisite. It literally feels like the energy of the universe is flowing into and through my body. Um, and when that would happen in a big way, like there were periods where it was just like crazy. It would feel like it was coating, like it would feel like this stuff was coating my whole head. It would feel like it's dripping from the back of my skull onto the top of my spine and then pouring down my spine. Um, and and so that's the sort of stuff that I would feel if I had like one of these random cramps that would then release. Then it would feel like that stuff sort of flowing in on a cellular level. Um, there would be episodes. This is hard to describe too. There were over a period last year of about 6 weeks, my spine and rib cage loosened. And what would happen would be like different times over about 6 weeks. If you imagine a power washer, but a little miniature power washer on like one of the vertebra of my spine, and it would feel like there's like this sort of power washing thing happening on the vertebra, and and again, then it would sort of clear, and I'd feel energy sort of go through that spot. Um, there were episodes where I would feel I don't know, imagine a sparkler at the end of a laser pointer. And so like a laser pointer sort of tracing a path inside my body in some place. Um, like there was one episode where my heart squeezed systematically from bottom to top. And then that sort of laser sort of thing sort of went through it, and then it cleared, and there's this cool, soft, cool, almost like a cool breeze on my heart, like very trippy, sort of metaphysical sort of stuff. But again, it's so clear to me about the physical changes are occurring, and again, what you were saying before, this is available to everyone. Everyone is experiencing this change, to whatever degree that they allow it. And so, as you mentioned too, I mean, the Earth is being bombarded with these subtle energies right now, and you can welcome them in or you can resist them. But as they come in, they polarize us. They polarize us in service to others or service to self. And then there's a bunch of people in the middle that are still undecided, and that's because that's where they're at they still are. That's where their soul learning is at. There's no right or wrong to any of this. It's just
a line.
but you see
Yeah. It's just a
but
line, I said. Yeah.
it's clearly in the world, this division that's happening. And you see very clearly those who are in service to self. They become obvious. They can't hide. And and so this is also like as things are coming up, individually, traumas and things, to come up and be processed. That's also happening on a global scale, um, with cultures and governments and systems and all that kind of stuff. Um, I got kind of sidetracked there, so I don't.
No,
lost track.
that was perfect. And you know, I was listening and I'm trying to remember the questions I have. I'm probably gonna miss on some. But you're totally right. I think it goes back. When you were saying, I'm sorry I interrupted you. When I say it's a line, because I believe we're
Mm.
all in a line. There's no right
Yes.
or wrong. It's just a spectrum. It's just like being the line for the bank. Is it really that important? You are the first, the second, if you're the 30th, we're all gonna get in the bank. So
Yes.
it's just the moment we are. You can do something yourself to, as you say, side to some, but it doesn't have to be a conscious thing, a forced thing. Oh, I'm gonna go into service to others because that's gonna get me to the new world. You have to feel it. You have to understand that's the right thing to, that's the only thing to do. It's not right or wrong. That's the only thing to do. You're
Yes.
embracing unity, you are leaving all the other things behind. So in the last 2 minutes of every show I have that little arrow with some music. And I say fear, rage, envy, loss, violence, justice to all, I mean, justice through violence, being belligerent. I mean, all of these things you are gonna want to leave them behind. And you said something I remember now on the other segment. You were talking about eating better, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be a vegetarian because I saw it in TV, and you know we don't have to be cruel to animals." Well, if you eat plants, you're also cruel to plants, so it applies kind of to both things. But some people do it maybe because it's you know it's in vogue and it's the new thing to get vegetarian and you lose weight and stuff like. Do it, as you say, when you're where your compass, when your inner intuition tells you no more animal food, no more animal, you know, meat. Perfect. It came to a friend of mine that is going through this process, same as you and I, and she was in a meat restaurant with her family, and suddenly she couldn't eat meat anymore. It came in a second.
Yes.
And she
Yes.
had to go to the restroom to relieve herself from the meat she had already eaten in that meal because she felt like vomiting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It
but
no
it was
longer resonated with her.
exactly, but in a moment. So she was enjoying it, and 15 seconds later, and she hasn't eaten meat anymore at all. And
Wow.
it's
Wow.
impossible.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yes, go ahead, please.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, and it goes back to something you said a few minutes ago. But you know, as the more we realize, the more a person realizes that we are all one, like deeply understands that we are all one. It makes it practically impossible to harm another person. Like you just can't because you recognize they are you. They are you in another form. You know, when you think about if you were to imagine, you know, all of each person on the planet, all 8 or 9 billion of us, if each one of us was a cell in a greater, larger being, um, you know, areas of war, that would be cancer. You know, it makes absolutely no sense. And these are things that like sometimes people think that you know some of these changes are just too far away and impossible, or you know how could. But the thing is, once you start experiencing the sorts of changes, these like again, you just can't do it, right? It's like your friend who had the reaction with the meat. You know, you just deeply understand, you know, the how wrong it is, you know, to be harming another living being.
Exactly. Yes, and that's the beautiful way because when it comes to your intuition and you, I just remember another question I had when you said about your higher self. So important. When I think you surrender to your own compass, your own intuition, your heart, your divine connection, you have to understand how important your higher self is because it's the higher self is our version or best version, the version that has already understood this and is there for, is not gonna do the work for us. That's not the point, but it's certainly gonna guide us, encourage us. You know, I personally believe that our higher self is our guide, group leader. Okay,
Mhm.
like that. Uh, I had an experience, and I did see visions on that one. On a spiritual response therapy, we went there and we asked, you know, and the guides were in my mind. I saw visions in my mind. I felt it, but I did see on that one in my mind. There was a lion, and there were some religious figures. I'd rather not say because there were two from different religions. So that for me makes it so funny when they hear we fight. Oh, you're a Muslim. Oh, you're a Christian. How about, you know, the Prophet Muhammad and Jesus Christ are friends? Okay, and they're probably in guide groups all around the world because I'm not special. I mean, they are in many guide groups, possibly all of us.
Mhm.
I don't
Mhm.
see why not. They are in
Yeah.
all humanities guide groups, but they appear, they were evident there. But the only one that spoke was the lion, and he told me we're friends from somewhere else because I'm going very out there here, but well, this is an out there episode anyway. That we have been in many different places.
Yes.
Part of understanding who you are is not you're not only a human, We have been
Yes.
so many things. So that part came from, some information of where I was coming from. And it was an encouragement of keep going because we all have problems, Chris. This reality is still very difficult. That's the problem of some people have with the new age, which I don't have a problem. It's just I don't feel things are so structured. Okay, I feel we can all find our way into this, and we all do it
Mhm.
at our own pace with our own, one day you don't do it. Okay, it's perfect. And the encouragement was that this reality has struggles. You could be having problems with your health. You could have family members or friends with health problems. You could have financial problems. You could have mental problems. You could have emotional problems. So many things in this reality that I think on purpose they're making it so difficult for us to kind of be at peace and try this. And that was the message in my case, that keep going. You're doing okay. And we know you are sometimes in worry. That I think that's the thing I've been probably the past few years for financial issues. But things are gonna be fine. Just keep at it.
Yes. Yes.
So with guys, except for that, and probably some dreams, with me it's mostly when I wake up in the morning, there's some stuff there that, okay, oh, I get it now. Okay. And it's maybe some questions I've done in the past, or things I've been thinking about. And one of the things that came to me a couple of years ago was the loss of the universe, and how important it is to be, for example, not judgmental to others, not interfere with others. Okay, you believe whatever you want to believe, that's on you. I mean, that's perfect. It's not my place to even, think something
Mhm.
about it. Uh, and the love balance, which is the beautiful law of unity, which is basically we're all cells in a body, we're all part of the creation, we're all to think that the creator, the beautiful creation, will create second class citizens, that doesn't make any sense at all.
No,
We're
no.
all this beautiful creation. And you said something incredible, beautiful a few minutes ago, that how knowing this, you could go to war, or you could even hate, or you could even, feel different from whoever, an African, an Asian, a person from Vietnam, a Muslim, a Christian, a black or white, whatever. We're all, if you don't want to call it the same thing, brothers and sisters at least. I mean, we're part of the same family. We all have the same father.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So
And sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, please.
No, I was going to say that it's Earth is a school for soul growth, and challenges are part of the growth, right? In the same way that you, in order to build muscle, you have to come and, lift weights, and push back against things. And so the challenges that we have in this, in these lives are for our spiritual growth, and it's hard to wrap your head around how like terrible things can be good, can have gifts in them. The challenges don't have to be suffering, but at an extreme point sometimes they are. But when you think about it though, like if you wanted to imagine the you on the other side, when you're deciding to come in and have this life, and you say, okay, you want to develop spiritual strength or something, right? And so your best friend on the other side is going to put up their hand and say, I'll be your nemesis. I'll be the sand in your oyster. You are going to hate me in your life, but you are going to test your strength. And so in this life, you can have a life where there's someone that you just can't stand, but in fact, they're a gift, they're a catalyst for you. All of the things that we experience in our lives are catalysts for growth. And again, when you can look at it through that lens, it sort of takes the sting off of really terrible things. And also it also just, when you can, if you can have the view of everything that happens in your life is happening for your benefit, and you look for what you get out of everything rather than complaining about things, rather than saying, oh, this happened. And it's actually, you actually take responsibility for that. You are creating your own reality with your thoughts. And like you create your own reality. It's so if you are thinking, if you can have your thoughts be in a great place, or you can dwell on really negative things, and if you're dwelling on the negative stuff and getting yourself all twisted up, again, that goes back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago, where you have to let stuff go, let things go, don't hang on to them. This reality is a play, it is, and each one of our incarnations, we're just playing a part. This body is just a costume, and at the end of this life, I'll take off this costume and I'll put on a different costume. And the only and of course, when we incarnate here, we have the veil of forgetting. So, we have all these plans on the other side. We come in, of course, we forget who we are. But that's also part of it, right? We come in not knowing who we are, so we can have the joy of awakening to who we are from a new perspective.
Yes. Actually, I'm not saying I don't agree with you there. I have a slight different view, or maybe I just say it, I'm gonna say the same thing with different words. One thing I think is a little bit strange is the number of reincarnations on Earth when there are other possibilities available. It seems, now that I've gone through my past lives, that I have a very fair share. To be exact with you, apparently I have 927 reincarnations on Earth.
Mhm.
And I already left one time. I'm what is called a returnee. So I already left the cycle one time.
Yes.
But apparently I convinced some souls to come with me. I laugh because apparently they're upset with me that I convinced some souls to return to Earth apparently and say, hey, let's go for a second try. So I'm on my second try here. And there is nothing. I love Earth. Earth is beautiful. Humanity is beautiful. Nature is wonderful. I think we need to. One thing we're going to do better in the future is our relationship with nature. Okay.
Yes.
Nature is beautiful. I see the creation there all the time in every animal, in everything. But one thing is, there was a podcast of the lady you were there that I got the video from. I'm sorry, I forget, Love Podcast, something like that.
Yeah, the Love Covered Life podcast.
Love
Yes.
Covered Life podcast. Thank you. She had another guest recently that actually already did a show, but I have so many inventory that is going to come out like in 14 days. And she was saying it's kind of a medium. She does regression therapy, this guest. And she asked the host, why do we come here? And she said, the concrete answer, the consensus answer is we come for the experience.
Mhm.
So this idea that maybe we balance karma and that, I don't agree that much, because if you think about it in a way, that will perpetuate karma. So that's my position, that I'm a little bit different there. That, for example, you and I, in a past life, I did something to you. Now in this life, you're gonna do it to me. That's still karma. That's still karma on you. That's still trauma on me. Is that really gonna help? Because then if I need to give it back, that's gonna be an eternal cycle. I think trauma, karma, trauma, it's an eternal cycle that we break. How do we break it? Stop doing karma, stop doing bad deeds, stop doing confused deeds, release trauma, forget about it. You wanna call it forgiveness, just forgetting that you received the trauma. That breaks the cycle. The eye to eye, the justice, that's keeping the cycle. Oh, you kill me, now I'm gonna kill you. And then you're gonna kill me and I'm gonna kill you. And it's gonna go on forever. How about you kill me and I forget about it? And I don't kill you.
Yeah. Forgiveness is the way to do that. And
No,
yes,
go ahead.
we
Go ahead,
incarnate many places besides Earth.
Many
places.
It's just, for some reason here, it's like a spot we tend to come back repeatedly. And maybe it's the veil. I agree, the veil is important. Why? Because we come here, and if we remember all the things, we could be traumatized quite quickly. And that's why I suggest people that are going to past lives, be careful, do it slowly, do it at your pace, because you will remember, you are going to see some things. It's just a very good chance you are going to see that you have killed, for example. There's a very good chance. Also, by the way, some people that, for example, people that hate women, men that hate women, you probably have been a woman before.
Oh yeah,
and you probably have been, you probably have been gay. You probably have been all these things that some people hate. So if you think about it, so silly, because you have been that you probably question people that say, "Oh, how could they be like that?" Well, you probably were that 5 lifetimes ago. So let's not make a lot of think about that. So we have been so many things. I've been a priest. I've been, I know a few about my lifetimes, but on the one I was a killer. Oh my, I was there for months thinking about it. That's not possible. That's just not me, because I have transcended that. And that's why I hate violence. I renounce violence completely for me. Will I still react? I have 2 boys. someone threatens my voice, I'll probably still engage with violence. But that's probably about my wife, my parents. That's about my limit to violence.
Yeah. Well, and everyone who gets to a point where you are balanced in, where you are biased in service to others, and you're doing soul learnings about service to others, you have already done many, many, many lifetimes exploring service to self. Because we also have to, as beings, understand protecting ourselves, and all of that stuff. The My understanding about sort of the earth, and like one of the reasons why a lot of souls are now coming here, is that because earth went so far down in vibration, it became so low, and our lifetimes were so short that the people, the beings, the souls that were incarnating, they would come in and they would get extra karma. Like they wouldn't clear karma, right? They would be adding to it, right?
Yes, you will go
And I understand, yes, and I understand karma to be unfinished business. So, I incarnate somewhere with someone else to, do some kind of, whatever pattern, whatever thing we were going to do. We don't finish it. I don't learn it. So another lifetime, we come back and play out the same thing, right? Anyway, so the souls that were on Earth were sort of trapped, in they couldn't break out of the cycle that they were in, and so that's why many souls who had already graduated, like you had said, like you, came back to Earth because just being on the planet, their higher vibration helps the planet. Just just being here without even waking up, because the souls that come in, the higher vibrational souls that come in to help, some of them will wake up and some of them won't. But that doesn't mean that they lose where they were at. It's just they don't wake up, on Earth necessarily. Yeah, I mean, I know that through the readings that I've done a few Akashic readings, and so I know from that this is the fifth time I've been on an ascending planet. That
Wow.
I've also done it in Andromeda, in Arcturus,
Wow,
in
that's a lot.
Pleiades. Yeah, and so and it's also one of the reasons why, when my Kundalini activated and some of the other things that sort of happened in my body, I'm reawakening gifts that I had earned in previous lifetimes. I once did it was a 2-part guided meditation to activate my 24th pair of chromosomes. And in this, the second part of the activation of the meditation was the first part was to activate the 24th pair, and the second part was to activate the gifts that I had in the 24th pair. And when I did that one, it was like a fountain of light poured over my crown when it occurred. My eyes were closed. All I could see was sparkles, and it was just pouring into my crown.
That's incredible. And what you said that you're, maybe for the viewers that didn't catch that, but that was incredible. When you said you are in your fifth experience, let's call it like that, in an ascending planet, in a planet changing densities. That's
Yes.
amazing. That's amazing. Thank you for being here, and what you said make all the sense to me. There's a word some people use, star seeds, people
Yeah.
coming from the stars. Those are the ones. Also, when I talk about densities of realities and different levels of vibration and that I share that some beings are in a higher level, and whatever you want to call it, I don't want to use the name 7D or something like that, but it's a higher level of vibration, and it's not a sacrifice. They are not martyrs. They offer, which is different. It's not, I'm going to sacrifice. No, it's the person that they offer to come here and say, hey, let's help out Earth on this ascension. I mean, we have the experience like you, and let's help out Earth, because yes, probably a good percentage of humanity, that's why we have to be kind of understanding, and because they are doing it at their own pace, and some are in the process right now that they're rejecting this idea that because you said something very important on the other podcast. It's not only that we're going into a higher frequency, a higher vibration, we're also leaving a lower vibration. That's very important. And that's what I think. If you are not prepared, if you don't have the experience, what is going on? What is going on? Because they know it intuitively, they know it, but they don't embrace their intuition. They embrace their mind which I believe, or mine, unfortunately, to all the, I don't want to call it poisoning, but all the things in this world, it's not going to give us the answers. You have to go to your intuition. So if you are not embracing your intuition, my good friend Tony from London has been in the show many times. He has a very beautiful metaphor that you're out there in a rock. Let's assume it's an ocean. You're out there in a rock, you're grabbing to the rock, you feel safety with the rock. The rock is your mind. And you have to let go to the universe and just go into the ocean. Hey, I'm gonna drown. When are we gonna get to shore? Don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be fine. But you have to let go. And letting go, you were also talking about letting go a few minutes ago. Let go everything. Let go your preconceptions. Let go your ideas. Let go of that. Just embrace this beautiful process. We are gonna be fine.
Yes.
Whatever happens, because some people say, hey, we're all gonna be, we are never destroyed. Even if there's a meteor coming, we're never gonna be destroyed.
No,
Yeah.
the eternal, this is an illusion.
Yeah.
We are each a piece of creator experiencing the dream of creator. And we will, when we wake up from the dream, when we transition, our consciousness, our conscious awareness is eternal. We have always existed. And as hard as it is to wrap our heads around that, but that's also just that, you think about it, in our natural state, we are non-physical beings who are eternal, infinite. And in that state, how would you know what it's like to fear death?
You don't.
You can't. You
Yes.
can't. Just to have a physical experience, from as a non-physical being is incredible. And so even that, when I do something where I hurt myself in some way or something like that, some pain, it's just kind of like, oh, that's pain, like actually rather than being upset about it, sort of embracing that's this, I'm experiencing that. Loneliness, the same thing, like there are times where I can feel, oh, I feel kind of lonely, but then I can turn that around and say, what a gift it is to experience that feeling, because when I'm on the other side, it's impossible for me to feel that because I'm connected to everything, as everyone else is. We are all one. We are all one consciousness.
Yes, yes. And actually, I believe I recently had Peter Panagor, that he's a very well-known person that experienced a near-death experience, actually two of them. And the way he described the moment he was out there with the oneness, with the creator, that sheer love, which we went to in that show, we went describing it, that is not the same love of, the love for your children, the love for your spouse, the love for your parents. Yes, it's beautiful, but it's something in a whole different plane. I'm not sure as a human you can dimension it, how
Yeah.
amazing that love of the universe is. And that's why some people, that when they are returned to life through these near-death experiences, are like, wow, I've seen a beautiful place. I mean, you brought me back. It's I've seen different. Okay, so I'm not saying we're gonna have plenty of time being full spirits. That's our future. That's actually our higher self. That's what it is out there with the creation. And yes, we need to enjoy life here on Earth. I give a suggestion: always try to enjoy it however you want to enjoy it. If you want to be alone, that's perfectly fine. But some people are upset with their family, upset with their friends for no reason, for silly arguments. Just try to be,
Not worth it.
yeah, it's not worth it. Just try to patch things off. Just try to enjoy life. I know we all have problems. I know things are difficult financially with health and all that, but let's try, just enjoy every day. Maybe it sounds a little bit harsh, but enjoy like you're gonna die tonight. Okay, like don't leave things, don't make plans for 40 years, 50 years, even if you are young. Enjoy it. Enjoy. It's very important you enjoy it, because that's what you say, as a spirit, we have different things, and we don't experience this kind of life we have here on Earth.
Yeah, we're not here to suffer. We're not here to suffer, and it's so true what you say, to just enjoy each moment, to whatever it is, in whatever way you want. And it is, we are here for the experience. Every experience is valid, and all of the experiences combined. I mean, the phrase "know thyself," which is, people think about that in terms of knowing yourself as the physical self, but there's also know thyself in the greater sense, because all of the incarnations that we do as a as you incarnate again and again and again and again, you're incarnating into all these different forms as a way for you to know yourself from the spirit level, right? All of this is all of everything you do that expands yourself expands the whole. It is creator expanding through experience, through every molecule, and everything is conscious. Everything is conscious. And it is, again, it is experiencing the dream of creator.
Yes, and I also think one of the important facts of the new world that is coming, whenever it's coming, because there's a lot of anxiety with that. Some people say 2025, 2030, I don't know, maybe it's not in our lifetimes, but it's coming. I'm completely sure the Earth is in the cusp of an ascension. It's a relationship with nature, seeing the creation in nature, okay? Not seen as a different thing, like, like we're gonna do whatever we want with creation, everything is about humans. That's gonna change. And some
Yes.
people say, oh, you're into climate change. No, 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 no. I'm into respecting nature and working that if humans are going to be here on this earth, we have not to tax the earth the way we do it. And we have to work with nature. We have to respect it because it's like harming ourselves. Okay.
Yes.
If we harm nature, it's like harming ourselves. Same like harming another human is harming ourselves.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you said something, I also remember now that you said if all the energy that is put into conflict, violence, wars, and all that is put into good, into unity things, into working with nature, because I'm sure the technology is there, energy is available in the universe. First
Yes.
of all,
Oh, yes. We'll solve the world's problems.
yes, everything is going to be solved. I also think we're gonna have less needs, especially related to food, sleep, health. I think we're going to be way healthier on the new world. Some say we're going to transcend disease. Maybe, I don't know. I also heard that bodies are going to be way lighter, way less demanding on resources. So we're probably going to eat once a week. I heard that about other civilizations in their. Now that you talk Pleiadians and that, I remember reading about the Arturians. They eat once a week or something, and then they evolve into not eating at all, living from the energy of the universe. Because you can see it. There are people. I know a person in this life that eats very little food. So where is the energy coming? From the universe. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if we learn or if we evolve and we mature into requiring less energy through our energy conversion system, which is from the mouth to the stomach, and that we convert food into energy. That's it. It's a conversion system. So if we get energy from somewhere else, we're gonna need less food. If we need less food, we're gonna put less strain on the earth, on nature, until eventually maybe close to zero. So this is beautiful in so many ways. This is not, again, about agendas and progressive agendas. No, 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 because we get a lot of confusion with that. For example, when I say we're all equal, oh, you're a communist. No, I'm just saying that as spirits, we're all equal. If we put our spirits, we get out of our bodies as spirits and we put ourselves in a mirror, we're all going to be equal. Okay.
Yes.
So that's what I'm trying to say, that we stop, we evolve, sorry about that, not stop, we evolve, and we just see that, we're part of the same thing, we're the same thing. How about we work together to make
Yes.
this world a better place?
Yes. And I don't know exactly how long it will take. All the things you're talking about, changing of the diet and all that stuff. Absolutely. I don't know how long. I don't see it happening as
It's a
a
process. Yes.
a switch going off. All the people who are in service to self will transition off of the planet. Anyone who is not at least 51% tilted in service to others will not stay on the planet. And so I don't know how long that takes until the planet is 100% people who are service to others. I don't know if that's 5 years from now, 10 years, 20 years. I don't. But I know that it's coming,
Yes.
and with an absolute certainty. And when you take that people with that mindset, service to others, and who also, in whatever way they understand it, that understand the oneness of all things. Again, like the futility of war will, we won't go to war. Like, war
Exactly.
will end. It feels kind of impossible right now, the way that the world looks at this particular moment. But I know the time is coming, and it's not that far away in the grand scheme of things. So
Yes. Well, some people say I'm going to see it with my own eyes. Well, because they think about their mortality. Okay. And I mean, even if you're young right now, you're probably going to be here 80 years, 100 at the most. So they say if it's going to happen in 200 years, it's kind of, it's useless. No, no, it's not. that's the future of planet Earth. That's the future of humanity, and it's a beautiful future. So just be happy about it. If it's in 1 year, great. If it's in 50 years, great.
And it's
Uh,
going to continue. It's
yes,
not like it's all the change happens and then
yes, it's
this is a
yes,
process. It is, and so there will be significant things along the way that will be major changes to our society and our world. Right at some point, our galactic family will introduce themselves formally. Right at some point, the galactics will say, yes, we're here. We're here. We've been watching you. We are family. Because just as we are all one here on Earth, we're all one. Every being in the universe is part of that one consciousness.
exactly. I just want to say something maybe for the viewer that that they could understand it in a different way. You said something very important. I agree completely that the ones that are not ready, it's not that they're bad. They're just not ready. Okay. Because then we go bad, good. It's a spectrum. It's just being ready or not being ready. So let's say you're not ready, you're gonna be exactly to a density of reality similar to Earth. I don't know if it's gonna be exactly the same, but similar, because that's what you need. It's not a punishment, okay? Because then we go with the punishment, hell, heaven. The new Earth sounds like heaven. That new planet that I'm gonna go sounds like a punishment, like hell. No, it's what you need. It's what you need so you can continue to evolve at your pace, because you decide your pace. If you want to be in a reality like that 100 times, you're going to be in a reality like that 100 times. That universe is beautiful, doesn't punish you ever, just supports you. So your evolvement is going to be at your pace. So what you says is totally correct in my book, that the ones that are not into service to others are going to go to a similar density in another planet. And I also heard another theory. I know that the Earth is going to split. So we're going to have kind of two simultaneous densities here. And as densities work, it's like being in another frequency. So the higher frequency is not going to see a lower frequency and vice versa. Okay. But it's going to physically here. Who knows? That's also a possibility. But I also heard and align with the theory that it's going to be somewhere else in another reality. That also makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard the same things, and like I don't know if I don't know if there's going to be a sudden split and suddenly there's a dimensional shift, and or if it's just a slow, steady change, and things sort of just gradually improve, because the ones who are service to self, they are a minority on the planet, and they're the ones that actually make it difficult for the majority. And so as they transition off, and as what we're seeing all of these terrible things coming to the surface, but those things are coming forward so they can be addressed and they can be resolved. And so we're on this beautiful path, that there is, I'm going to say it, light at the end of the tunnel, but it's, to me, the outcome is so clear, where we are going, and what we are heading to, and it's magical. It is genuinely magical.
Yes. Also, that is what gives me peace every day, and and happiness, that we're in a beautiful trajectory, and I'm not saying I've seen it, but I can feel it. I cannot explain it. It's gonna be, just imagine a gathering of family and friends that they love each other, that there's no one gets upset, there's no division, there's no arguing, just like that, but for the whole planet with nature, okay, including nature like that. So just imagine, because nature is waiting for us to kind of grow up, okay? I'm sure nature look at us and says, okay, humans, evolve a little bit, embrace the universe a little bit.
Yes, yes.
So it's a beautiful thing, and a lot of people, especially the ones that are a little bit confused still, they ask for evidence. They ask, where is this coming from? Who said this? Is this in the Bible and that? Okay, I have no answer for that. Okay, it's either you believe it, you want to believe us, great, that we feel this, that we have in a way experienced it, or if you don't want to believe us, that's perfectly fine. But for us to evidence is, for me, asking the wrong questions. It's really, this is not about evidence. This is something that is coming to everyone, and for me, it's just a matter of time that everyone is just gonna accept this, and it's a beautiful moment. It's a beautiful moment, just letting go and saying, "Hey, universe, I'm yours." That's
Yes.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you, Chris. We have gone a little bit over an hour, so do you have something in closing you want to say?
Um, Nothing particular in closing. It was really great chatting with you.
Thank
I
you.
have a website.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a website where I write about these sorts of things, purposeofthesoul.com, and you can find writings there. I've got a free
Yes, the ebook. Yes,
the
please
ebook.
mention it.
There's
Yes.
I hesitate to call it a book. It's like 15 pages. It's
I know,
very
it's
short.
very short, yes.
But once I had a really, really clear understanding of the nature of our reality and sort of the system that we kind of go through with our souls, I wanted to put it down on paper in sort of as easy to understand way as I could, for people to digest some of these concepts, because you certainly, we're aligned with everything I'm talking about, but for lots of people, these are completely new concepts, and they've never heard about these things. These are and so I invite people to contemplate them, because
Yes.
as each one of us is a piece of the creator. Each one of us is a piece of the all that is, and each one of us has their own built-in divine guidance inside.
Yes.
You just need to learn to know that it's there and learn to tap into it and learn how the communication happens. And it's like a muscle. You have to exercise it,
Of course.
to work on your intuition. And then you start to experience things that, for the people who are skeptics out there and stuff like that. I mean, I was in that camp. It's like, okay, great, well, show me. And once I experienced it, it's like undeniable.
Yes, for everyone watching, I'm gonna, of course, include Chris's website on the video notes. So just click on it. It's very easy. I suggest the ebook as well. And I wanted to say something very important in closing. I don't mean to touch religions, because some people are very sensitive on that. But this process is a little bit different than the religions. You have to put a little bit of work in. With religions, what I find it's okay. I hear someone else speaking. I embrace a book. Yes, in this one, you have to go into yourself. What Chris and I can do for you, listening, is spark a curiosity, spark a light in you, something in you. And then you surrender to your supports, beautiful, incredibly loving support system that you have, your guides, your guide group. The universe is always there with you. It's going to be there with you, but you have to do a little bit of work. Okay. And that especially involves letting go. And I'm not saying something physical or anything like that, but the difference with religions is they digest it for us. And here, with direct connection to the universe, it's a direct connection to the creation. There's no intermediary. There is no one doing it for you. You have to do it.
Yes.
That's putting in the word. You have to do it. So I hope we can spark the curiosity. And again, it's the purpose of my channel. I do shows on a lot of things, but at the end, I always attach this 2-minute presentation, which I changed it recently a little bit to be less technical. And it's basically that: embrace your connection to the creation, because that you are going to decide how and how fast, but you are going to get there. I can assure you. But you have to start. No one can start for you. Okay, you have to do it. Like Chris have done it, like I've done it, like similar people. You have to do it. Okay. So I hope this was an inspiration for someone, Chris. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you. And for everyone, please stay for the last 2 minutes of the show. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover your true self. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and to serve others. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover your true self? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to the universe. Simply ask, who am I? Where do I come from? What is my purpose? You will start getting signs, breadcrumbs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about this reality start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering your true self equals to real freedom. Your self-imposed limits will fall and you will be ready to understand this reality, but you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will set up a new world. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, lust, envy, violence, justice through violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only your egoic mind and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. putting the word to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Thank you very much for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@thealexshow.tv. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website, www.thealexshow.tv. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.